Hey everyone, Rick here, and it is that time. I finally have unboxed everything that was part of my Miniature Building Authority Castle Kickstarter rewards. And I thought I would throw together this little scene, which is probably the easiest way just to give you an idea of everything that I got and pretty much everything that came out in that Kickstarter. I'll do some close-ups in just a second here. This is just two fairly small card tables put together with a 6x4 Frontline Gaming fat mat. Once I started to set up everything, I realized space could be an issue, but this would fill up a 6x4 table no problem. And I actually didn't even use everything that I got in the rewards. So if you're not familiar with Miniature Building Authority, they make terrain for 25, 28 millimeter tabletop gaming. They also do some smaller scales as well. They do a whole variety of themes, from fantasy, medieval, modern, even a little sci-fi, I think. And they recently held a Kickstarter last fall, which I dug in pretty heavily to. So to get, it's just so impressive, but basically you can get inside of everything. That's one of the major perks with Miniature Building Authority. So we'll start here with the drawbridge. You have to imagine there's like a moat going across here. This drawbridge did come with two of these wooden planks. If you saw my earlier video, I showed how that works. And again, you can get inside of everything. It's fully detailed down to the fact that there is like a little ladder there that would then lead you up to this trapdoor here. I can't go into too much detail on some of this because it would take me forever. But I just threw this together. I don't know how practical of a design it would be for a castle, but I thought it was really cool using some of these 45-degree angles and these much more pointy angled towers. This is Kensor Hall, their new inn, and like with everything else, you can go right inside. The floors lift off. You can see in this particular building the stonework and even the wooden floors are engraved. Even that little roof there lifts off. And the tower, there's even floors in there that you can take out. I really am letting Miniature Building Authority stand alone on this. I thought about filling this up with accessories and miniatures from all sorts of different companies, but everything you see here, apart from the mat, is not only Miniature Building Authority, but everything that I got in the Castle Kickstarter. And that includes these little figures here. 5 castle winches. Fully painted, little well there, and some other accessories that you'll see just scattered throughout. This is the Givens house with some lumber outside. Again, you can go right in there. That floor will lift out also. Coming along this wall here, I did put some stairs there. It's fully modular, so you can do whatever you want. And then here's a section of wall that is actually the barracks. Roof lifts off there. It's just blank on the inside, but you can fill it up with furniture. But the floor does lift off, and there's actually some stairs going down there. Even on these little round towers, the roof lifts off. And you can actually make out the doors and the ladder that would lead to the trapdoors on top. So they've thought about access points to everything, which is really cool. Here's a little, what they call a Craig's Gate. Open on that side, you could put some figures in there. Closed on that side. And a blacksmith. Just a lean-to, so you could prop that up against just about anything. And a square tower, which is really neat. You have the floor that lifts off there so you can get inside. And another cool thing with the square towers, at least in this Kickstarter, was that they also had the hoardings that you could place just right on top of them. Just a single piece. Some of my favorite wall sections are these D towers. Where you have a little kind of step up. So I did this in 2 sections. This kind of more citizen town-ish area. And then the full castle keep on this area. So it's flanked by 2 square towers, 2 of those D walls. And then the same thing kind of with the drawbridge, this gatehouse. You can lift that out, even lift the next floor out of there. There's multiple sets of doors that you can pull right out of there. Everything just slips back in. There is the tower house. I'll show you that in just a second. These little archery targets were stretch goals, and I put the ladies' chapel there. When I put that figure there, I didn't even realize it, but I thought that was hilarious how that worked out. If the knights are practicing, but a couple errant arrows go whizzing by, and then it looks like she's ducking out of the way. And again, some stairs over there. Ladies' chapel, fully engraved on the inside. I have some really neat benches that would look good in there. This section of wall is a bit different. It is the Great Hall. It actually has a rampart built in. And on the inside, this is actually a really big building. You have stairs in there going up across this wooden balcony area, fully painted and engraved on the inside. Just need to add some tables, chairs, and figures. This is one of the coolest pieces right here. This is the kitchen. It is fully painted and detailed on the inside and the outside. And some fighting dummies over there. I got 2 wall barracks with my pledge level, so kind of like how there was a barracks in the village, there's also one in the more militant section. Here's how this portion looks from the back. Okay, so the tower house. This is so cool. So the way you gain access to the interior is you just lift up on this wall and it comes right out. And then on the inside are these really nice, almost trays you can put stuff on, and they are fully detailed, and the stonework carries through all the way to the inside. some of these levels do have stairs in the bottom there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but on the inside here, you can lift out these doors, and there's actually stairs, but there's a trap door going down. You can't see it, but there are actually interior doors on the inside also, which just looks so cool. So you can do all sorts of stuff in there. And those doors actually lift out too. Plenty of room for figures up top. There's also a little stable back there, I don't know if you can see, and then that's the lean-to that I glued together. There actually are a couple other little lean-to buildings that I just kind of propped up against the walls, and like always, you can get right in there if you want to. So that is pretty much everything. I thought this looked pretty cool for just a quick throw together setup. And that isn't even everything. I still have a bunch of other stuff. Some walls, a little tower, a destroyed wall, another hoarding, some of my favorite accessories ever, which are these torture chamber equipment. 2 packs of those. Then a bunch of these wine rack pieces. Here is the Tower House dungeon, which basically that trapdoor that was leading down would go down here, and little jail cells. And the detailing on this is really cool. I mean, there's a little skull there, and I don't know if you can see it. There is actually a rat skeleton in there, but you can't tell. And then here's a little cellar. I mean, the stonework looks good. It almost looks like it could be compatible with Dwarven Forge, which I have a ton of also. So those could be just a couple rooms that I could plop down. There's also this restaurant I just did not have room for. And of course, Team MBA. Here's some of the boxes all this stuff came in. And more over there. All the bags. So that is pretty much it. For all of you Dwarven Forge fans, the last Kickstarter that just ended with all the civilians and guardsmen, yeah, that would fill this out really nicely. So that's a good portion, the majority of what I picked up in the Miniature Building Authority Castle Kickstarter project. Now I gotta box all this stuff back up. But I'll probably play around with it a little more before I do that. And actually, there's even more than this. There was a early shipping wave that was shipped to some of us backers early that had a couple other buildings not seen here, including a really cool wizard's tower. And if you've seen one of my really old videos on Miniature Building Authority, you'll know that I also kind of have a small castle selection of pieces already. I didn't use any of those here. Everything you see here is freshly arrived, basically. So I hope you enjoyed that overview, and until next time,